Welcome to the eOceanic Resource Search tutorial. Resource Search is a unique tool that helps you uncover the specific boating and leisure resources you might want from your surroundings. We've already seen how eOceanic uses a wide range of icons to convey a picture of a haven's attributes at a glance, and that these are used in addition to the text to further define all havens. Here we use this extensive list of haven attributes collectively to provide a means of interrogating an entire coastline. With the Resource Search tool in the eOceanic application, you can now search the coastline for any and all of these. It can range from specific types of shelter that you might need to run to should a forecast turn bad, or it could be a nice sequestered anchorage where you might just want to take a break, relax, and get away from it all. Or it could be used to help you find places along the coast where you can refuel or even take care of provisioning. Or it might be just looking for a place where you can let the family off to play. Whatever it is, eOceanic Resource Search will most likely enable you to discover your best options almost instantly. All that is required is a few touches of our Resource Search tool to select not only specific individual attributes, but multiples of them in finely tuned collectives. You can even select to highlight complicating aspects that you might want to stay clear of. This is ever so easily carried out, so let's have a look. First off, where we're working this exercise from is the English channel. Once again, touch Menu and then Resource Search. Now, let's swipe to have a look at the weather presently. Light and northerlies. The first option is the shelter you need. Simply touch the quadrants from which the conditions are coming from, so that it limits the havens it presents to you to those that have this shelter. In this case, northerlies. Next, you get the option to add to this a minimum level of protection that you require. As you can see, the defaults are set to the least shelter option. So you are focused on touching a higher level of shelter as applicable to restrict the results to those higher levels. So, for instance, if it is going to blow from a given direction, you might want to select anything that is listed as good as a minimum. On the other hand, at other times when it's fine weather and you're thinking of having a lunch stop or an afternoon stroll on the beach, you could be less demanding. Then you could select something minimal, such as exposed. Touching a level selects it. Touching another level deselects it and selects the new one. You will see whenever you make a choice, the summary text appears to indicate the rating we apply to the selective star number and keyword. So in this case, we will select good, as we are in for a long run upwind, and that assured good night's sleep seems to fit the bill. You can also set the minimum level of navigation involvement required to get into the haven. Safe, for instance, would be the desired minimum option if you are caught out in foul weather and running for shelter. Or go for the less demanding, careful option if conditions are good and, in the worst case, you are happy to carry out a little pilotage. Remember, these are means of limiting your options to havens of or above these attributes. You use them to narrow the result. The lower the requirement, the more options you get, and vice versa. We will set the minimum as attentive here, as we have good navigation resources aboard. Your next option is to set a minimum draft required. As you can see here, our survey rib is registered to the application and its draft shows by default. You're free to alter this as the case may be. Then it comes to the nature of a haven you're looking for. Just touch the icons to select the attributes and a blue check mark appears. Touch it again to deselect it. The next area is more resource orientated. Simply touch what you would like. In this case, we might need to top up water and fuel, and the crew provisions would be handy. Not to mention the skipper's needs being attended to. After this, you can note the physical restrictions occurring in havens that you might not want to have to work around. These are colored red so as to stand out as undesirable items, and when you touch them, they are marked with a cross indicating you specifically do not want to have to deal with them. These do not limit the results in any way. It just surfaces any of these items you prefer to avoid in the haven results. For instance, for the purposes of this exercise, imagine we have a keelboat and are not interested in drying piers, areas where you cannot come ashore, lock-ins, or areas where a rig restricts entry to certain times. Also, there are more general items that you would prefer not to have to circumvent or have to deal with. Once again, you don't want to run up a long river or estuary, and it would be best not to have the wind walloping the halyards all night should it blow up. Thereafter, it is simply a matter of touching the Go button for the resource search results, or reset to start all over. The results then are provided in the following format: haven image, the summary using the keywords, plus the draft available. The compass visually shows the direction it is from your current position, and the distance is displayed at its center. Haven shelter quadrants are illustrated to the right. Beneath this on the left are the desired features you required, which are well met. Anything that is not attained of your specific range of options is noted as a trade-off on the right. Then we are on to the next haven. It is important to remember all the havens are listed in terms of distance from the position where you initiated the search, not because of any better or more substantial meeting of the requirement. As we scroll down, we see Port Marina here as one of the items you would have preferred not to have dealt with, a windswept berth. These items are also surfaced in the trade-offs. So, when you see something that fits the requirement, simply touch the haven image and you are into the haven entry itself. Press back to return to the list to consider other havens. Then back again to return to the search criteria once again. At this point, you're welcome to add or remove checks or cross-offs to the original criteria. Or alternatively, press reset to clear the slate and start afresh. So that is resource search, a new way to interrogate a coastline that is covered by eOceanic. And with this tool, you're sure to find what you need from a coastline quickly and easily. Thank you for viewing our eOceanic resource search tutorial.